Hello friends, and welcome to a 10 card video that I am putting on using products from the Not Too Shabby shop and some other various places, which I will try to make sure everything is linked below the video so that you can find everything that we're using. But I'm hoping that this video is both informational and inspirational. So I know there's a lot of videos out there where you just see everything's already cut, ready to go, and just kind of slap it all together, but I'm going to show you the process behind figuring out how to do 10 cards using sketches and a paper pad and matching things up and trying to get everything going. So for the stamp set for this, I am using these two here, and these are both stamp sets from the Not Too Shabby shop, and one of them is called Sweet Tea, and the other one is called Lemonade, Yay Lemonade. So I actually, instead of making this tea, I did the whole thing with a lemonade theme. So it's totally up to you if you would rather do, you know, tea and lemonade. It doesn't matter how you want to do it, but I made the whole thing like a lemonade theme just so that all 10 cards match. So I've got these. I have already fussy cut them out and colored them, and then this is how I decide how many images I need and how many that I need to replicate, do over again, make doubles or triples of. It just depends. So I've got my cards here ready to go, and each one of these has what I'm going to use as a focal point for each one of the cards. So we've got this, my paper pad for this. The easiest way to do this is to pick out a paper pad and go with those colors and those themes and just stick with it. So I'm going to do Girl Squad. This is one that I picked up at Tuesday Morning a while ago, but the colors in it are super cute. So, and it's got like kind of like an ice cream theme and some drinks in it and some really pretty florals. And so I decided to kind of go with this one. It's even got pretzels. That's so cute. And it's got some gold foiled in it. So this was a really cute little kit that I got. Paper pack that I picked up at Tuesday Morning before all this craziness happened. I picked up like 6 different ones of these, not this particular one, but 6 different small pads like this. So this is the one that I chose for this, and I kind of picked my color palette for coloring in all of my images with this. And then to go with this, this is something that I think nobody really tells you about, is your card bases. So I'm going to set that right there. Your card bases and your mats. So all the different colored mats. So you can see each one of these has layers to it. So you've got your card base, you've got a layer that you use a die cut for, multiple die cut layers, different colors. Some of them are patterned, some of them are just, you know, plain colored. So for the easiest way for me to show you, if you are new to making cards, this is probably the best deal out there that you can find. So these are sets of cardstock from AC. So this is AC cardstock. If you go on their website, there's tons of these packs. These I happened to pick up at a couple different places. So at Scrapbook Expo, I picked up a couple. And then if you're lucky, which I was very lucky, and I look every time I go to Tuesday Morning, you can find them for very cheap at Tuesday Morning. Now they may all be the same one color, so these are all different variations of pinks and reds in this one, and these ones have a lot of different colors in them. They may be just one color, but $6.99 for this much cardstock and this quality cardstock is a great deal. So if you see this anywhere for this price, you should grab it. This is a really good deal. But what makes this so fun is, okay, so if you don't store your cardstock like this, I would suggest, like leaving it in the original, I would suggest cutting this out and keeping it with the pages that are in here. This is a great reference for you to take your paper pad and just start matching up your colors. So when you're looking at this and you're looking at this, you've got all the colors right here on the top. You can kind of go through and see what you can find for colors. So right here, taffy is going to match this pink perfectly. So we've got taffy. Let's see about the greens. This green is a good green right there. Well, that might be a little bit more of this, somewhere in between these two, but I have more than one. So here, now we move on to this one, and look, turf. Turf is perfect. So turf will work good, spearmint will work good. This yellow here, the lemon's gonna look good. So this is a great way for you to match your layers, so your panels, the background layers, with your pattern paper and your cardstock. Now I don't generally use these for card bases because it's not real thick. Let me see what pound this is. This is great for layering. Let me see. This is 80-pound cardstock, so it's thick enough, but I don't really like it for my card bases. I would rather use for my card base. Let me get this out of the way. I use this. So I've already cut all of my card bases, and this is 110-pound cardstock that I picked up at, I think this one I got at Joann's. Used my coupon. There's a nice big thick stack of it. It's white. It's 110 pound, and it makes great card bases. And I just cut them out, each one. So on this, for these here, we've got 4 landscape and 6 portrait. So I've got 4 landscape and 6 portrait. So I have all this. And then if you look at each one of these, you'll see all the different types of dies that you can use. So in your stash, you go running through your stash and look for stuff. You can replace them with things that you actually have in your stash. It doesn't have to be exactly this, but like here under this one, we've got a flag. I've got some flags, so I'm going to use that. Here we've got the scalloped rectangle dies. I've got scalloped rectangle dies. Perfect. We've got a few little elements in here that we can add to with some hearts. So these are some Lawn Fawn hearts. So we can use that. We've got our stitched circles for the ones with the circles. There's a stitched circle right there. This I pulled out just in case I wanted to use the thanks die. So this is some of my Simon Says stamp dies that used to come in the kits. And so I've got a real pretty thanks right here where we can use. Here I pulled out, this is a Paper Smooches Sweet. And I thought sweet would be cute for one of the large sentiments. We'll see how well it fits. Here, so this is all I have for like a scalloped circle is this. So this is probably what I'll use for the scalloped circles. And I can't tell you who makes these because these are so old. I got these like when I very first started scrapbooking and making stuff. So I don't know who makes those, but Spellbinders makes this where you've got the happy birthday, the hey thanks, wishes, thinking of you, sending sympathy, congrats, etc., etc. These make really good little accents for here. So I've got a whole bunch of dies. I've got my paper, I've got my paper pack, my pattern paper, and I'm ready to go. So I will be back. Now is the part where I'm going to go cut everything out, and then we'll come back and assemble all of these cards and make them look super cute. All right, I am back now. I have everything all cut out and ready to go, and now is the voiceover part because I needed to speed this up. All total time for cutting and putting all of this together was a little over 3 hours, so that's why I ended up not just talking through it. You'll see my hands moving like I'm talking to you. I ended up cutting that part out so that I could speed it up and take out some of the kind of tedious things that you don't really want to watch. But right now I'm explaining to you that I am using a wonky stitched rectangle die, and I'm going to pull it out and show it to you. And this is a cat scrappiness die. And these are really good just to add some interest to your panels in the background. Whether you have them or not doesn't matter, because in the next card I'm going to show you that you can just use your scoreboard and your scoring tool. So I'm going to just add my flags here, and I'm basically just following the Queen and Company card sketch. So we've got our flags, we've got our little element in the middle, and I even have the stars, and then I cut out some little hearts. So what I didn't do as I was putting this together is about 3 or 4 of these cards don't have a sentiment because I forgot to stamp them, and instead of stopping and going and doing it, I just kept going and decided to add them later. So at the end of each one of these little putting together of the cards, there'll be a close-up photo of the card with better lighting, and you'll see the sentiments that I chose for each one of the ones that don't have one already on it. So now I'm just going to add some of these gold sparkly hearts that I cut out, and I used the Lawn Fawn hearts dies to cut out a whole bunch of them. You can see them there in the bowl, and I think I have some, I want to say pink glitter and gold glitter cardstock for that, and then later on I'll pull in some stars, and those were La La Land stitch stars that I pull in later on. So I'm just using some of the different, some of the stuff that we always like to do is pop some parts are popped up, some parts are flat. And then we're going to pull out the enamel dots because I have a ton of enamel dots and I love to add them as little accents to the card. I also have some sequins that I'll pull out later as well. So that is the close-up, and I picked You Make Me Smile. So this card is blank on the inside. So these cards are great. You can make them anything you want them to be. You don't always have to use the sentiments that are included in the stamp sets, although Jamie's stamp sets always have like the cutest handwriting in them ever. For your sentiments, sometimes I want birthday and it may not have anything birthday in it, or I may want, just to say, hey, I miss you, and that may not be a sentiment that's in there. So shop your stash, look for whatever sentiments you think are going to go for the type of cards that you want to make, and just add what you like. You don't have to always have what comes on the stamp set. So for this one, I was really kind of questioning this green. It was really, really bright, but it does match the paper. So I went with it, and it actually gives it a nice little pop of color behind it. Now I'm just going to layer up my circles. Like I said, I had to speed this up. So it's about 3 times normal speed, and that brought this video to just a little over 20 minutes, which I don't generally like my videos to be much more than 30 minutes, even on a 10 card video. So hopefully all the rambling for the first 7 minutes of the video didn't drive half of you away, and you can just sit back and enjoy putting together all these cards. Here is the pink glitter cardstock that I'm going to use for the hearts. So I did a little shopping at Joann's. Yeah, last time I went to go get my card bases, they were having a cardstock sale, and part of the sale that they were having was also with the glitter paper and the like the foil paper. So I ended up getting, I want to say, 4 or 5 different colors of the glitter cardstock and then some of the gold foiled paper. And I ended up using the Be Happy, and for that one I cut that out using white fun foam, so that way I didn't have to do any stacking of my sentiments, and it still gave it that dimension that I wanted. That's another little tip, is if you don't want to cut out your sentiments like 10 times and stack them together to give it dimension, if you have fun foam, and it comes in a variety of colors, some of it even comes with the sticky backing, you can just cut it out with that, with your dies, and use just the fun foam as your sentiment, and then you don't have to layer a whole bunch of pieces together. So I'm still going to put, because this paper pack has a lot of gold accents to it, some gold foiling, that's why I'm using a lot of the gold with it. And then one of the things that happened was, as I was going through the paper pack, I found only one page with kind of like a white plain background to use for my like centers of my squares, my circles, or whatever. So I went through my stash and I found this piece. So it's just one 12 by 12 sheet that I cut down and use in a bunch of the different ones, just to kind of give it not such a busy or bright background. I wanted kind of something, because my coloring is really bright and pretty, and I wanted that to be the focal point, not the paper. So that's why you see some paper in here that actually wasn't in the paper pack, but it's just one sheet. The rest of it's all from the paper pack. Another one of the dies that I used for this one is Hello, and that's a Simon Says stamp one that came in one of the kits. And for this one, I only cut out half of the Hello twice. So I used, again, fun foam, and it's black, but the H is popped up a little bit, so the ELLO I cut out twice. So the H is just once and the rest of it is twice, and I stacked it on top of each other so that it would lay flat. I think we're almost done with the first sheet here. So one of the awesome things about using these card sketches is you don't really have to think. You can change things up every once in a while if you want to, or if you don't want to, don't. I mean, that's what they're there for, is to give you basically a jumping point where you can either just follow it along like I'm doing here. I'm showing you basically almost exactly what's on each one of these. I didn't really even change it up very much. I think there's maybe a couple places where I did something just a little bit different, but for the most part, I'm following those sketches pretty closely. It's a very, very easy way for you to make cards pretty effortlessly, especially if you're a beginner and you're not real comfortable with card design. This is a great way to do it, and it really didn't take that long. So all totaled, from when I started the video to when I ended was, like I said, it was a little over 3 hours to make 10 cards that are really cute. Now, granted, I had already colored all of my images, but I used my Spectrum Noir markers and I used the tri-blends, so wasn't a whole lot of thought there either. The only thing I did with my tri-blend markers is I did add a 4th color to every one of the colors that I have. So I have like a little swatch sheet where I swatched out all of the tri-blends, and then I added in a 4th color so that I have just, if I want to, I can add that little bit of extra dimension by giving it just that little one step darker than what you get in the tri-blend. So if you're using those, or you're thinking about getting those kind of markers, they're super easy. They're very portable. I can take them to work and color on my breaks. They're just easy to use, so that's why I use them quite a bit with the simpler images. I don't use them very often on anything that requires a lot of detail, because still for the super detail and the effortless blending and the gorgeous blending, I'm always going to recommend Copic markers, because those are going to give you the very best results when it comes to doing very detailed coloring, like when I'm doing my La La Land images, or even like CC Designs, any of those ones where it's like a face and a lot of detail in the clothing. I'll use my Copic markers for the most part. But for stuff like this, I love using those Spectrum Noirs because, like I said, they're very portable. I can take them anywhere I want, in the house, on the road, wherever I want, and I can color. And to make them just even that much better, I added that fourth color to each one of the tri-blends. So anyway, back to the card. This, I think I said that this was Paper Smooches, that sweet. It is not Paper Smooches. That, I think, is actually an MFT die. So it's one of their older ones. I shopped my stash just to see. When I saw these card sketches, I knew immediately. First, the flags caught my eye because there's a flag in the stamp set that is perfect for this. And so I thought this would be perfect. And then I realized that I think I have almost every die that they have shown in these card sketches. So, and for anybody else that wants to just follow along and do the same thing, you do not need to have all these dies. You really don't. You can, like I did with card number 2, you can take your background piece or your background panel, and you can just, the 1/8 inch on your scoreboard, go all the way around the outside with it face down, so pattern up, and that gives you a beautiful score line all the way around that's raised. So that gives you some a little bit of dimension and fun, you know, for just the back panel. You can always just cut these out by hand. You don't have to have scalloped rectangle dies if you don't want. Most people, I think a long time ago, I recommended that I think everybody's like main stash, if you're a card maker, you should have some stitched rectangle dies in your stash. You should have some stitched ovals and some stitched squares, and then you're good. That's really all you need. Anything over that is, you know, just adding to your stuff, but you can, to get started, that's really all you need, just to give your cards a little bit of dimension and a little bit of interest. And that's all you would need to do all of these. You can make your own flags, which you'll see when I start making the flags. I did use flag dies for the first one, but the rest of them, I needed skinnier flags, and I don't have flag dies that are skinnier, so I made my own. And it's really easy to do. You'll see me do it here in a little bit. But yeah, any one of these shapes, you can totally just replace it with whatever shape you have in your stash. Instead of this hexagon, you could use a circle. If you have a circle or a square, it doesn't have to be exactly what's on the page. And if you're burying, you can see that right there. It's got like a little blip in it. If you're putting something behind something else, use a scrap pieces of paper for that. The only part that has to look good is the part that's showing. The part that's behind it doesn't have to. So that's like a little tip from a lot of card makers do that, where you'll see like something that's behind something else will have one of the die cuts cut out of the middle of it, because you're not going to see it. Something else is on top of it, and that's a good way to save on your cardstock, especially if you don't have a huge stash of it. You know, you can be kind of frugal with your cardstock. So I'm going to use the sentiment this time from the stamp set, Yay Lemonade, and then I also use the Your Sweet, which is one of those line sentiments from Lawn Fawn. The Lawn Fawn has quite a few of those, and they're nice to have in your stash for when you want to have just a long little sentiment across the bottom. It worked out really well for this card. Now I'm just going to pop up a bunch of the little glasses that I fussy cut out, and then add the lemons. These stamp sets are so cute. I don't know how much you guys peruse around Jamie's shop, but if you go to the stamps tab on the shop page, and then you go to Not Too Shabby, she's got a lot of stamps that are by her shop. And she has the cutest, well, you guys know I only really like, I'm not a big floral person, but she does have a lot of floral stuff too, but she has so much of this. This is so stinking cute. And these are so easy to make a ton of really cute cards. You can make, like I said, any occasion you want. Any one of these stamp sets can be molded into whatever occasion. Like here, I'm going to make a very simple card. Very simple. I'm going to make my own flag. throw a miss you on there and one of that super adorable flower. When I colored in the flower, I just added some white pen detail just to give it a little bit more interest. The flag that you cut out from the stamp set, and that's pretty much it. A couple little accents, and that's all you need. And I think it's really, really cute, even though it's very, very simple. They don't have to be super elaborate all the time. I have to tell myself that because you guys know I go a little overboard on my card making pretty much all the time. So it's kind of nice to just sit back and just have fun and make some nice simple cards that I'm running low, believe it or not. I don't know, I've been sending out a ton of cards lately, and giving away a ton of cards lately. So this is a nice little stash builder for me because I really, really needed some birthday cards and some all occasion kind of cards. So I wasn't making these for anybody else. This one's actually for me this time. And you can never go wrong with shiny sparkly things. That always just makes the card perfect, is when you add shiny sparkly stuff. So that's it. Super, super simple and really, really cute. So we'll move on. Just a couple more cards and then this whole video will be complete. And I'm so happy that I finally got a chance to sit down and do another 10 card video. It has been a really long time. Ever since I stopped getting the kits. So I think I told you guys that I don't get the Spellbinders kits anymore. And now I just stopped getting the Simon Says stamp kits because I just find that I don't use them. I literally have 3 Simon Says stamp kits sitting here on the shelf, and I didn't even like unpack them because I thought, well, if I do the video, I'm going to want to do the unboxing. And so like the supplies were still sitting in the boxes, and I thought, this is silly. I really do need to concentrate, especially financially. I need to concentrate on only buying the things that I'm actually going to use and stop wasting money on things that I'm not. So as much as I love those kits, I decided to take a break from them for a while and concentrate on the stuff that I needed. So you won't see me doing too many of these 10 card videos anymore. Well, you probably haven't in a while anyway, but it was kind of nice to just sit down and do this. And I hope that sitting here chatting with you for a while has been okay, has been tolerable for you. Add a few more of my little enamel dots. I love this little sandwich. I have no idea what's in it, but I decided that whatever it was going to be is going to be this really pretty pink and green. So here I'm just going to run through all the cards that I made, and because this was right after the video, some of them won't have the sentiments on them, but I showed you them finished after I finished making each one. I threw them in there to make sure that you could see them completely finished, but another simple one with that birthday wishes. I want to thank you guys so, so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. If you like this video, please subscribe. Tell your friends about it if you have other card makers. And you guys, I really appreciate you being here. I really appreciate you subscribing and commenting. And I'm working my way towards that 10,000 so we can do a giveaway. So tell your friends about this channel if you haven't already. And I will see you again very, very soon with some more videos. And I will actually be doing more next week. So have a great week, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.